Okay.
But
I mean,
whether I
So you guys know each other now?
we do. Glad to meet him.
sorry about that poor handshake.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. I grabbed early, there's a late thing,
I was like, that's a horrible introduction.
before we go, we'll master
Do
it.
that banana fingers over
No,
here.
stop.
I got little hands. And I'm like, it's got these massive hands, and I'm like jealous of them.
Bro, it's
Man.
my brother's a pianist, and he's the same like height stature as me, but he's got these like long old piano hands. We can literally call them piano hands. Like my brother Chris piano hands. That's just a name. But his like hand stretches like weird. Like when you get a handshake, it feels like an anaconda's like
Oh,
slowly choking the life out of your hand. It's weird. Like how like your pinky's wrapping back to your thumb. What's happening? Weird.
All right, so for you, you're still working on getting your license, right? Have you started the classes yet?
No, I found which one I wanted to go through, and then my phone took a shit, so I wish I had a new phone and spend on repair the other money to get my information off of it, and my phone, or my fence key during those times.
Okay.
So that's where my mind's at.
Just, get over those little
Yeah,
blocks.
it's just frustrating. So.
Just stay focused.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you're my mentee, so I'll know.
Thank you.
So building a successful real estate business is pretty easy. Okay, I'm gonna say that right now. The hard part of it is getting out of your own way and doing the stuff that you think, well, I can pay the Z-Word for leads, or I can, pay Realtor.com for leads, or I can pay for this other shiny object that came up on my news feed one day. Hello. Once you stop thinking about real estate as how do I spend money to succeed, and start looking at the fact that you have a database online, right? Facebook. How many Facebook friends do you have? Okay, so that's the first pillar of real estate is, really dipping into lead generation organically, right? And instead of spending all this money, throwing money at a problem that doesn't exist, because that's really what Zillow and everybody that's trying to get you to get paid leads, that's what they're doing. They're creating a problem so they can have the solution to sell you, right? When all you have to do is hop on your phone on social media and go through Messenger, each person independently. Don't send it out like a mass messenger, because that's, people are like, stop spamming it. But the message is, if you were to buy or sell property in the next 6 months, you or someone you knew were gonna buy or sell property in the next 6 months, you give them my information. You're gonna get a lot of people that are like, I don't even know you. Why would I give out your information? Don't let it hurt your heart. Just move on. Now you write that person's name down and you start your marketing every time you're marketing something like an open house, or a listing. You make sure that those people that have already said, I don't know you, make sure they see it, right? Make sure that their name is in the copy, so it shows up on their feed. That way they can get to know you, give them that opportunity, right? So the 3 pillars of real estate, right? We've got lead generation, follow up, and crafting a successful sales message. Okay, so what I'm talking about there is like your bio on all of your platforms. So as a real estate agent, you get a Realtor.com page, you get a Zillow page, right? And a lot of information like Homes.com pulls from those. You want to have all of your information be true and correct and the same. So one bio for everything. Make sure that bio is super succinct, to the point, just short. Some people because I help people with SEO all the time, search engine optimization, and I'll look at their bio and I'm like, okay, I wrote a book, but you don't need to for your bio, right? Let's keep that. It has to be quick enough for someone that doesn't read very well to be able to just scan it and get all the information. It really does. That's all it needs to be. And if it's the same everywhere, then people are starting to get to know you. That's how they feel. They're like, oh wow, yeah, I remember her from her Zillow page and her Realtor.com page and her bio on Facebook is the same. If all of your information is the same everywhere they see you, they're gonna remember it. Subconsciously, they're just gonna be like, yeah, that's Kristen Hangman. I've been hanging out with him. Like they feel like they're hanging out with you when they're online. To be honest, I think that's why people are addicted to Facebook and Instagram and all of that, right? Because connectivity. That's it. So we talked a little bit about prospecting, lead generation techniques already, right? Reaching out to people on, I go through Facebook Messenger. She can attest to it.
Absolutely.
It is highly effective. We call it shaking the trees for a reason, right? We go in, and anytime I feel like my business is stressing me out, that's a symptom that I need to do something within these three things, right? I need to either work on a sales message, and you can take that to like ad copy for a new ad to be able to drive attention. You don't have to pay for these things, right? You create an event on Facebook and it goes out to everybody like it's an ad. People see it, they're like, oh yeah, I want to show up to this person's event, right? If they've got time on a Saturday between 1 and 3, they want to be part of your open house.
So you're saying create events?
Oh yeah,
Every open house you do,
come up with something.
Cam and I, we've got one coming up, a pretty big one that we do every year. Cam's going to partner with us this year. But you make it an event. And then anytime we have a listing, that's also going in Facebook Marketplace. That's like Facebook. And a lot of people,
create an event on the marketplace.
well, not, so Marketplace is like where you sell stuff, but you can create a Facebook event.
Okay, I know.
And you can invite people to it. People can be interested in it. And you just, and you'll get a community among your actual friends and then your work friends and then just Facebook friends that you've actually never met, but 17 mutual people or whatever. And like you said, you get that connectivity and they'll be interested in it. Even if they don't actually go, the fact that they hit that they're interested, it's going to show up to 25 new people now.
Correct.
And that's one reason why we like to we put more stock in Facebook than any of the others. One, because Facebook is for old people and old people have the money to buy a house. Like I'm not, if you're going to be scrolling TikTok for 30 hours a day, I don't think.
Oh, you probably should be working harder. But yeah, I think the magic to bounce back and forth on what they're saying, I think the magic is just taking it from people, period. So any organic way, how much does it cost to post that? $0. So what can we do? Make sure that we're expending all of our free opportunities before we have to lead into the paid opportunities.
And then make sure that your ad copy is written, okay, the average person reads at 4th grade level. Sad to say, but that's exactly what the statistic is. And so if you're writing ad copy like you just graduated with an English degree, not a whole lot of people are going to connect to that message, right? That's why if you see on Facebook when I do ad copy, it's a line, and then with a thought in it, and then maybe 2 or 3 lines with a thought in it, and then a call to action, and that's it. Because that's the amount of attention span that people have. That's what you're working with. Why? Yeah. And so what I've found out is it makes it really easy on me, right? Because now instead of writing like I do when I'm writing a book, or I do when I'm putting one of these together, I get to just sit back and be like, okay, if I were a fourth grader with like a 3-second attention span, how would I want to see that message come across? And that's what it is. They're scrolling. So you're trying to stop that scroll long enough to get a message and a call to action in for them to get to know, like, and trust you, right? And call to action can be simple, right? If you want to buy a house, call me now. Make sure your phone number's on there. And I'll go out there and, be like, man, now like me. I haven't had any phone calls. I posted this like 37 minutes ago. And nobody's.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Is it on?
Like,
No one's called you.
sorry to interrupt, but I feel like when I put my phone number sometime in Facebook or something, like my account gets hacked or like heavily spammed, or all of a sudden
Change out what I'm doing.
I got a business account or stole money out of a business account I had before. I don't know. I mean, is there a way to?
Here's the thing with that, like, as the person that owns a business, you have to have a way for them to get a hold of you.
Spell out
Okay,
one of the
so what
numbers.
do you do?
That's
So
exactly what I
you
was
just
gonna
put the actual numbers 530 blah blah blah, and then the last number's 9. Don't put the number 9. Spell out NINE.
say. Yeah, correct. Choose one of the 7 or 10 numbers with area code and just, like when I'll do it, mine's 530-301-5448. As soon as I type in the 5, I do that 5EE448. Just so a bot can't catch it.
I do periods instead of dashes.
It's another way to do it.
Oh,
530.216.676. Right? So that's the way to do it, but you have to be able to put your phone number out there, and it's gotta go on Zillow, it's gotta go on Realtor, it's gotta go on Facebook, it's gotta go everywhere. Because it's one thing to think, well, they're gonna get a hold of me. How?
Makes sense.
Right? How are they gonna get a hold of me? And personally, I want my phone number everywhere. Everywhere. I mean, I put it everywhere. Another thing that we do for lead generation, we have, she noticed that in our neighborhood, there was no neighborhood Facebook.
So have you seen like Linda's got one, Edgewater's got one, Plumas Lake has one. I'm in all of them, by the way. I don't live in any of those
Smart.
neighborhoods.
Infiltrate those.
But in our neighborhood, we didn't have one. And we live in the Hillcrest Estates area. And so I made one. And we went around in like old school, like lost puppy flyers. We put flyers at the park and we put flyers on the mailboxes. And we,
Yeah,
scan this QR code.
yeah,
So I found my dog through those groups.
it cost us, what was it, probably $70?
Cost us $70.
So I nerd out on things, right? Obviously, you can see I've got technology. Anytime you're hanging out with me, you're hanging out with me for the technology. But what I did was I made these
Postcards.
postcards. They're about like that, right? And they have a QR code in the center that goes to the Facebook group to join the group. I had Noel here get every single address in Hillcrest Estates. Remember doing that? And on the card it said, "You are invited to the Hillcrest Estates Facebook page." That's it. And we sent them out to everybody. I can't remember how many we actually sent out, but 70 people joined it. And now there's like this whole community. They've like put together 4th of July parades and get-togethers.
We found 2 lost doggies.
Found a couple lost
There
dogs.
you go.
But we've also had a couple listing appointments from that, right? Because we're the real estate agents in that group. Now, do you think that we allow other real estate agents into our Hillcrest Estate group? Unfortunately for them, they're not going to be able to show up because that's our group and we make the rules. And we also advertise our so real estate's very heavy, right? Every time I do a live interview with somebody, it's getting posted on there, like, that we're very much becoming the Hulk in that puddle, so to speak, right? The one person that people think about in a real estate team in that area. Same thing that we're doing over at Shanghai Bend put on. She mentioned we do an event every year. It's the neighborhood Easter egg, right?
First year we did it, we had, I don't know, maybe 100 kids show up.
Last year was 5.
Last year it was, I think, just under 500. This year I'm spacing it out a little bit because Adventure Church does theirs, and so whenever theirs ends, I give it about half an hour and then I start mine.
Yeah, sure, because you mentioned this, there's right down the block.
They used to, yeah, because they would do it at Riverbend
Yeah.
right
And
there.
So those things take a little money, but that's money well spent, right? Yeah, it's not just throwing it down the Zillow hole. You're just not going to make enough return on that investment. Like with doing small events, she's got it to where the egg hunt doesn't cost the same.
So
Because vendors pay to play.
yeah, so I asked 40 this year. I'm going to ask $40. $20 is going to go into buying the eggs and the candy and all that. My kids and I put them together ourselves, and then $20 is going to go towards a raffle prize. And the raffle prize, that's the whole reason we do the event, is because everybody likes free stuff. So to come in, your kids get free candy, and all you want to win this barbecue set, or we switch it up and have gift cards to local bridge company coffee or Steelhouse coffee or whatever. And so people fill out their information, and yeah, not all of them are ready to buy a house or even thinking about buying a house or anywhere close to being able to buy a house, but that goes in our database. And I mean, Matt here is the king of follow-up.
Yeah.
And so we closed 2 in the last few months that you've been talking to him for 2 years or longer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're with Showcase, right? Are you?
I'm with EXP.
You're with these.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have.
I don't have it set up.
Okay, so you're gonna get a hold of me. I don't, not right this second I can't help you with it, but you will get a hold of me and we will get together and I will help you set that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. Because that's the best resource in the world for you. You have your setup? Yeah, that's where your contacts live. So all of this stuff that you're doing, right? You're door knocking, you're reaching out to agents that have listings to host an open house. You're setting up these, like an open house is just a top of funnel device. So has anybody explained to you the sales funnel at all?
I mean, yeah.
It doesn't make sense, right? It's kind of confusing the way, okay? It's only confusing until you break it down to its very bottom 3 things, right? 3 pillars of real estate is like prospecting, following up, and crafting a sales message. So that's the top of the funnel. Once people are in your group, once they're in your database, right? You're just trying to get people into your KV Core database so you can go through, set up a call list, and start calling. Because that's one of the best follow-up techniques is calling people. And once they're in your database and you have it set up to where KV Core is texting them, emailing them on your behalf, all of a sudden that call goes from being a cold call to a warm call, right? Because they know who you are. When I call people, and I call people all the time, I'll admit it, not every day, like I should, right? Like you should. But our business is to the point where I don't have to call. It's not going to hurt us. It's just not going to benefit, right? And when I call people, though, she can attest to this. I get them say, hey, is this Noel Gerardo?
Yes, it is.
Hey, it's great to talk to you today. This is Matt Moreno with the Moreno Real Estate Team. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. It's good to hear.
How can I help you, Matt?
So I'm just calling around my database today, trying to follow up with people and answer any kind of market or real estate related questions. Do you have anything for me today? And then I shut up and they
Well, I don't have a house, but I'd like to buy one from you.
You know, so,
Today.
And I need to get pre-approved.
Today.
so, and
Got
that's
a good lending guy?
the joke. That's exactly what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out who is going to buy a house in the next 6 months, right? I'm doing that with the Facebook message. If you were somebody you knew going to buy or sell a home in the next 6 months, would you give them my information? Think about the component in there. In the next 6 months, I don't want to play with you.
You take them off the time hook.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm gonna follow up with you if you're 3 years out. It's just not gonna be every day. It's not gonna be like, I'm not gonna call you once a week if you're 3 years out. I'll get you hooked up with somebody like this gentleman. And,
Don't forget it.
and you guys can have a conversation about your credit and, he can give you hints on what they need to do. And, you know, all of a sudden I get a call from the lender and it's, hey, Matt, this person that,
Remember so-and-so you told me
Yeah.
that a year ago?
you know, they finally got their stuff done and they're pre-approved, right? None of this stuff is immediate. If you're looking for an immediate answer to a problem, that's luck, yeah. The Facebook message is gonna be the most immediate, right?
And to jump in there, from a time standpoint, one of my active escrows right now is from a gal that was turning to me about a year and a half ago, that I would set reminders every 3 months and reach out to her quarterly, every 3 months reach out to her. Sure enough, about 2 weeks ago, month turned over, reached out, hey, just checking in. Sometimes she'd respond, sometimes she wouldn't, right? And if she doesn't respond for a couple months in a row, naturally some people would be like, maybe I'm being a little bit too much. Reach out to her 2-3 weeks ago. Hey, just checking in, hope as well. Oh my gosh, I'm literally on Zillow right now. There's this house that popped up. I'm like, let's go in escrow. But I mean, anybody else, if you let those opportunities, and then, yeah, I'm a year out or I'm 2 year out. If you just take that as I guess I'm looking at the next one. I'd rather make future money. I'd rather trap something today that I know I'm going to make money on in 2026 than never, right? So.
And that's
just
not
widening that funnel.
Yeah, and that's not to say that all cases are like that. Because there's a lot of misconceptions out there that I'm sure we all learned that real quickly once we get in this industry. People who don't think that they can buy, or maybe have gotten so stuck into the routine of renting, not realizing that they're perfect candidates to buy. I was that guy, personally. I was that guy. And it was a lender that pulled me aside and said, what are you doing? Wait, you rent? Dude, what are you doing? Well, I don't know, man. I got some credit stuff that I got to fix. And he says, dude, give me your info. And it was, I mean, he was persuasive enough and he was familiar enough. And it was just, he was willing to have the conversation of me, a conversation that I just kind of avoided.
Right.
But now there's this person in front of me who's like, let's have this conversation. Ran the credit, and he's like, dude, your credit's amazing. What are you talking about? And it wasn't necessarily that it was perfect, but I had misconceptions.
Yeah.
A lot of misconceptions.
Janelle and I were
A
the
lot
same
of
way.
misconceptions.
We had no idea that we were ready to buy.
So yeah, he knew somebody who recommended, and so we walked into the office, no appointment, just walked into the lender's office, and we like, hey, we want to buy in like a year. Can you tell us what we can start doing now to get there? Because we were responsible.
Yeah.
And
We were
45 minutes later, we
We're
were
finally
pre-approved with a realtor on the phone.
And in your case, you guys physically actually went looking to start the process, right?
Yeah.
But we're looking for those people who maybe
We don't have
like
that yet.
that's great if they walk in the door.
Well, I train people all the time when you're prospecting for buyers, you have to prospect where they live, right? Where the buyers live. They live in rental So we actually go around and door knock apartment complexes. And I'll have her design a flyer, and I mean, I suck at designing things, so like when I designed something, it was a small card with a QR code and some words on it. She
Straight to weakness.
she designs a flyer, you know, this
Yeah.
size, and we walk around and we hand them out. We get the addresses from him and find out, okay, you know, if it's a neighborhood like houses, we want him to let us know, okay, this person's actual mailing address is over here, so that's probably rented out now. And go knock that door, right? Do that scary thing and try to break my hand. It's not gonna hurt. But that's an icebreaker flyer, and you have something maybe co-branded with a lender, with some program. It doesn't have to be that program that's going on right now. They have products that they want to put on there.
No down payment, don't worry. Let's talk.
Yeah,
XYZ.
Right.
On GSM.
both of your faces at the bottom with your contact information. You're just there to have a fun conversation. That's what I do to put my mind right when I'm doing door knocking.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get in the door. I'm not trying to get a client. All I'm trying to do is have a great conversation with a new friend. That's it. And so when you walk up with that state of mind, that mindset, all of a sudden, when they answer the door, you're like, hey, I'm Matt Moreno. How are you today?
So good to see you.
I have this great opportunity for you. I'm just walking around the neighborhood, meeting people, having fun conversations. I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know that I just interrupted your day, but take a look at the flyer. If you have any questions, let me know. And it's just randomness, right? You just show up and they're like, wow, that's the weirdest sales thing I've ever been through. Like, you know,
But you can't just do it once.
and you can't do it if it says no soliciting on the house. Just don't knock on the door.
Do you ever just leave a flyer? Just-
Yep, exactly right. Put the flyer in the door jam, or you just go to the next one and you mail that flyer to that house.
No, that's smart.
Okay? Because if you put it in the door jam,
It's
it's a solicitation, right? But if you mail it to their house, they're just on your mailing list. How are you to know that they have a no soliciting
You're not
sign on
Google
their door?
imaging every house. Like, no, wait 2 minutes. Now it knows what's like next.
Yeah, you're just, no, they're on the mailing list that I got from the title guy. I don't know.
And with apartment complexes, it's super fun because you can look online, so you know what they're paying in rent.
Yeah.
And if that conversation goes, hey, I'm just, interrupting your day and all that. If you have any questions about real estate, or if you've ever thought about, maybe buying a house or moving up or whatever, they're like, oh, actually, I have thought about it. I'm like, all right, like, do you know that you're spending $75,000 or obviously not, but whatever, like, you can figure out what their rent is. Like, you're
Yeah.
throwing that away.
Yeah.
This
I
is a
don't
two
know.
bed, right?
I had a phone call with a guy that was spending $3,000 a month in rent. I was like, why? Why are you doing that? I said, well, there's just a couple things wrong with my credit. I was like, that's great. Let's get you on a plan to get that credit fixed, because right now you're throwing $3,000 down the toilet when you could be putting it into your own mortgage, not paying his.
And then you realize that he's been there for 3 years and he's lost $100,000.
Yeah. And so I get them, people like that, I get in a three-way text with me and the lender and the client. With the, in this case, it'll be, hey, Cam, that little wavy hand. Said, I have a client that's looking to buy real estate. Can you help? Send. And then you just leave it for
Hey, Sarah.
lender to pick up and,
Thanks, Matt, for warm introduction.
Yeah.
Hey, we can get a phone call. And then he also sees right there.
and it
Attorney
turns, yeah.
Stephen Lee.
And so I watch the whole story unfold, right? Now I know that that person is in good hands. I follow up with them to see, hey, how are things going with Cameron? Did you get your application done yet? Has Cameron got you pre-approved yet? You know that they're not. He's gonna tell you when they are, right? But it's just, now you have something to talk about. calling me because she cares about me. She wants me to get into a better situation, and this is how their thought process unravels. And then all of a sudden, you're showing them houses, and they're like, "This has been the best experience ever," right? Because you made a few phone calls. It's that simple, really.
It is. I think one of the just to jump in real quick. One of the things that I always love hearing from a client is when they say, "Man, I thought this was going to be super scary," and when you make it the opposite of scary, and make it fun and communicative, and you address their needs, and then eventually when it comes through in the survey, you close the escrow and you get another 5 out of 5. They're like extremely communicative, was always there to answer all my questions. I was scared up from, like I was talking the other day, I was always scared about real estate, and it always just made me uneasy, so I never really ventured out into it. And I couldn't have been more wrong. And when you lead out with strong communication like that group text, my goodness, you set the pace for really good communication. Fear is kind of stomped out by communication, in my opinion, because if somebody's afraid about the process, and then you make the process make just a ton of sense to them, there's no real room for fear there. Right? I feel like that's where I'm pitching.
I like that you brought up fear, because fear is false expectations appearing real. Okay? False expectations appearing real. So when you're afraid to make a phone call, it's because something in your brain is saying, that person is going to be rude to me, or this makes me feel uncomfortable. Well, we strive to be uncomfortable, right? That's the most important thing that I've ever learned in business, is how to stay uncomfortable. Because fear is nothing more than false expectations appearing real, right? Like, it's taken me from like selling zero real estate at all to where I'm at now, where I've written 2 books and I have a career that supports my family and everything I've ever dreamt of, right? Because I realized what fear meant and figured out how to stay uncomfortable. Any questions?
Just to touch back really quick on your concerns with your marketing, and making design flyers. Have you tried Canva?
That's what she does, and it's her department.
There.
Yeah, I've got Canva Pro and I have it all set up.
And she's super good at it. I am not. I'm such a nerd, and I can manipulate pretty much any platform except for Canva. I come to Canva, and I'm just not a visual guy at all. Like, I didn't design that cover.
Gotta have people.
Someone at
Gotta have
Fiverr- someone
So-
at Fiverr did.
He wanted to do like the Facebook event for this, I think it was. And he's like, man, like I can't figure out how to get the faces and then do this and then do this. And I was like, okay, well just like play with it, you'll get it. And he got frustrated, he's scrolling and he sees a Jay Kinder event. He goes, I want it to look like this. Well, give me the computer. Here you go. Like, yeah, basically.
Maybe you guys should do a class on that.
I'd be happy to help anybody with Canva. Like it's,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
you know, the more creative, like I'm not even that creative. I just go to some of their templates. I get a little bit extra. I probably get like 100 extra out of the thousands that they have because I pay the $9.99 a month. And I just take one that I kind of like it, throw half the stuff out, put my stuff in, and call it a day.
Do they have the AI feature in there now?
Yes, they do.
Everything's there. Surprised this water bottle doesn't. So do we all know how to schedule open houses? You've done 3. Okay. What do you do at the open house? Do you just, like when someone shows up?
No, I actually have meetings. I'm very busy. I don't know if that's like
Right.
this open house. There's only one time, one person. So I just show them. They also want to see me. I should have done like a probably open houses with talking with my friends. Like,
Right.
maybe you could have, put it on social media or whatever. But I'm like, I'm so messing with creating my more inventory for my Instagram. I started it, post a couple things, but now I'm like actually already making a video. So I'm gonna start posting on my Instagram. We show this house. I got the consent from the listing agent. It's a new build here, Emberway. It's one of those houses that I've showed you guys already. Nothing happened yet, but it happens. But yeah, it was a different experience. That's coming from go.
So.
I had to figure out the lock thing. I had to YouTube that. I mean,
Are you a kid? Come
I know
on.
it. But it was pretty simple. It was pretty straightforward stuff. Actually, I was pretty impressed with the app. It was pretty cool.
So to schedule an open house, you'll call somebody that has a listing. Be careful.
Do they have to be with you?
They don't have to
Don't
be.
have to
You guys should
be.
be.
Long as you get consent, right? You gotta get the consent.
Yeah,
of the
here's
agent.
Yeah. Oh, you
You
have
gotta
to get
communicate
consent.
that with the, hey, I'm bringing a client over.
You have to look at the agent and know who you're talking to. Okay, some agents will be like, no, I'm not gonna give you my leads. Like, give me your leads, you're not even hosting open houses, these leads are just sitting here, right? Like, nobody's harvesting them. So you have that kind of agent that, they're more of, I'm gonna keep everything to myself. I don't need you to market my property. Okay, that's fine. Let's get put them on a list over here. And when I'm making my calls to set something up, those people don't get to get a phone call from me, right? Unfortunately for them, they've decided to not be within my world, right? But so yes, they should be with your same brokerage. There's EXP. EXP doesn't mind us hosting open houses with anybody. Just like I said, be careful who you're talking to when it's a different brokerage, right? And people like me, because to be honest, a lot of my messaging is I recruit people to EXP, right? And so you can attest to this.
Yeah.
Public perception is Matt's calling. It's probably calling you to recruit you, right? So there's a different point of view when it's me compared to when it would be you, right? That being said, call everybody. You need to get your foot in a door to post an open house.
And you'll learn which agents are more open-minded and more like, hey, you're gonna, like, this house is vacant, you're gonna host an open house and you're gonna market my listing and you're gonna help me sell this.
Me get paid.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I want to.
Some people,
It's a perception.
So you're still, if you sell the house, you're still gonna split with something.
they look at you as competition.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I'm very new, so I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
So the only competition I have in my life is who I was 12 months ago, right? Everybody else is just a company. That's how I look at it. Unfortunately, not everybody looks at it that way. And so that's what I'm saying. Some people might be a little more abrasive when you call asked to host an open house, but some people will be super stoked about it, especially if that house has been on the market for more than 30 days. There's got to be a reason, right?
And
And you're not really, so once you get people to the house, you're not trying to sell the house. I don't host open houses to sell houses. I host open houses to harvest people's personal information and then market, right? So when they first come to the door, meet them like, hey, I'm Matt Moreno, thank you for coming to my open house. You can just walk with me into the kitchen here. I have a guest registry book. If you could fill it out, I would really appreciate it. Have the pen ready. Unfortunately, if they see a pen like this, they won't fill it out. If the pen is ready for them to write, they'll fill it out. If you say, please fill out the guest registry, I would really appreciate it. That's all you have to say. It like Jedi mind tricks people into filling it out. Instead of, hey, can you sign my guest registry? When I said that to people would hit me with signatures like I was trying to collect autographs.
Yeah, here it is. I usually don't sign on a Saturday, but.
Yeah,
Thanks.
But the second I started saying, if you could fill out my guest registry book, I would really appreciate it. You've given them a call to action, and then people like are trained, and it's engraved in them to not let you down. And so if you say, I would really appreciate it, now they're like, oh, shoot, I want to let this guy down.
And then to make it that much easier, but I'm always in any agent that works with me regularly, they can always pop into my office and grab a stack or short stack of $20 or $25 like Target or Visa or Steelhouse Coffee cards, and they'll use those to incentivize sign-ins. So if you're hosting an open house and let's say, somebody signs in, you always want to, and I'll speak to this, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, you never want to be an hour into an open house and let somebody sign in first, right? You usually on your list, you maybe throw a name or two down in there so it looks like.
I used to, but now I've realized that it doesn't really matter.
No.
And I teach the guest registry because I'm really good at it.
Yeah.
The way that she does it is even better because it's with her phone, right? And so we'll have our phones already opened up to
add contacts.
add a contact.
So when they come in and you shake their hand at the door, hey, I'm Tom and Mary. Great, awesome, nice to meet you. Go ahead, look throughout the house. I just want to have a couple words with you before you leave. Just ask you a couple questions. What you like about the house. That's all. Roam it like you own it. Go
I
look.
love that.
And so then when they come back, at this point, I'm putting Tom and Mary already set up. And so they come back. Hey, what'd you think about? What'd you like about the master? What'd you like about the kitchen? All that. Always keep it positive. Don't ask them what they think. Ask them what they like. What did you like about this room?
Yeah.
Then they're going to force themselves to find a positive. So once you've gotten one or two positives out of them and you've gotten your yeses, ask them a question that they will say a positive response to over and over again. Then it's like, hey, how do we want to move forward? Have you spoken to a lender? Are you ready to talk to a lender? Are you real? Is it this area, this height? Is it this neighborhood that you're interested in? Stuff like that. Okay, great. Well, let me set you up with, what do you call it? The database. What do you call it to the clients? You don't call it the CRM. The system? You just call it the system?
Yeah, usually.
I'll get my system set up to email you anytime a home in this neighborhood pops up. And then I just hand them my phone. Just hand it over. And while you're still talking, people like clicking on their phone.
They're trained to fill out online forms.
And so you just keep calmly positive sound coming out of your mouth as a white noise while they fill it out. You're like, awesome, I'll get that set up later on today. Have a great afternoon. Thank you so much for coming. And I swear, I think I had somebody wanting to put in their social security. Like you get first name, last name, email, phone number, birthdays, work emails.
Opportunity too, you look at their info if they forgot to put something, like an email address. Just like, you can just put your email address in real quick. I just want to make sure that I gave you that list of homes or something. Right?
Capture.
Yeah, that's how we pull information. And then KB Core actually has an open house app that you can assign to a device, so you can do it that way too if you want to hand somebody an expensive device to fill out.
Go get a fire
information on.
tablet.
Yeah, get a fire tablet. They're not
What's your
much.
license? Gotta go get the kids.
But once I still like using an open house guest registry personally. Once they're done filling that out, I do the same like script that she uses, and I go run it like you own it. I go a little negative depending on their attitude because you can tell. When someone's walking around the house.
Narrow hallways, huh? I know. Probably not the one for you.
So there are two deal breakers in any home. There are two areas of the home that are deal breakers. It's one of them, and master bathroom is the other one. And so when I get them back, I'm like, what do you think about the kitchen, the master bathroom? Right? And just saying it like that with a little bit of a smile, a little smirk, right? honestly, sir, I hated it. Okay, well, would it be, yeah, same here, it's, that master bathroom was garbage, I can't believe it, but you take a shower. You know, and then just,
Boom, commonality, you're on the same page.
you just
You're a
kind of bro down with them a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
And then,
Talking shit about somebody's bathroom.
that's it, and then all of a sudden,
I told the summer.
they feel like a little closer to you. You're like, you know, if I could find you a place with a master bathroom that would better suit your needs, would you be interested in setting up a private showing? They're always gonna say yes, because they just,
Mhm.
you know,
They're
realize
there for a reason.
they realize they hated this master bathroom, and you can find them something better. Of course, they're gonna be like, I already gave Matt all my information, like, he's gonna call me, you know, anyway. Yeah, I'd be totally open to looking at that house. Okay, well, if I can find you 3 options by tomorrow, what time would work for you? 2 versus 7 o'clock? A couple options, it'd be like, neither one of those work for me, I'm actually available around like 3:30. Great. Perfect. I'll be in touch with you very soon. So now you have a job to do. You got a lead. They gave you permission to call them. They gave you permission to find them something to look at, and they gave you a time that they want to go look at houses. Okay. Next step is going back and attacking other people, right? Make a note that person, you have a job to do. You know, you want to make sure that they are pre-qualified before you show them more than 3 houses. I'll show anybody 3 houses, right? To get the rapport with them.
And then eventually you go into a spot where you don't want to start sacrificing.
Yeah.
Getting time just
4th house.
just to get a combo from the lender. Yeah, their credit's at 470 and they have backload this, and you're like, well, why did I sacrifice my son's baseball game? Why did I
Right.
not go to the movie? You know,
Right.
be guarding of your time.
You know, Yeah, 4th house, you better have spoken with Cam and had a very long conversation with them.
Know that you're not wasting your time.
Right. That's one of the most valuable things.
Or you find out they're working with 5 other agents.
Well,
I mean, like,
be better than those agents.
Yeah.
you know,
You know, I don't have anybody sign a buyer's representation agreement because I want them to work with me because of the quality of work that I provide, right? Not because I got them contractually obligated to buy through me, and all of a sudden, you know, that's when you're hitting,
you want your client to be happy.
that's it, right? And I work with a lot of people, right? Like a lot of buyers and sellers. Now, with listings, you have to be in contract with them to work. But with buyers, it's kind of a free-for-all. You know, I'll ask if they're working with another agent, and if they are, great. Why is that agent showing them houses? Why they show it to them house without an agent? If they tell me, oh yeah, I've got an agent. Okay, what's their name? They can't answer that. They don't have an agent. Right? Bottom line, if there's any pause there, they don't have an agent. You know, and the only way that it's really unethical is if they have a buyer's representation agreement signed with that agent. Now, at that point, yeah, I'm not gonna. It's for them. Go have your agent show you houses. For sure, business opportunities. You know what I'm talking about there? For sale by owners, is what I call for sale by owners.
I'm sure it is. It's opportunity.
Tom Ferry coaching, yeah. FSBO stands for sure business opportunities. You know, they're just so not well trained and uneducated when it comes down to sales. And they really make it easy to be able to shine as a professional. But don't make it easy on you. You know, you're calling it a for sure business opportunity. You gotta kind of like lean into them like they do have expertise and kind of stroke their ego a little bit because they feel like the house is listed. And you'll hear them say, yeah, I listed my house. Oh, that's interesting because I was on the MLS today and I didn't see where did you list your house? Oh, you know, I put it on Zillow. Did you? Okay, so you're just paying Zillow for sale by owner. That's great. How much traffic did you have? How many people have come out to see your house? None. Okay, well, how long have you had your house listed? They just talk to them like the way they're the expert, right? I have my house listed for 60 days. Oh, that's crazy because in today's market, you know, things are selling between 2 weeks to a month. So 60 days is on the market by a while. Usually that's a symptom of advertising or your price of your house. Would you be okay with me maybe hosting an open house for you to try to bring some traffic through so we can find you a buyer? Almost every time they say this. Now you're harvesting leads from a for sure business opportunity, right? And you're using your open house techniques and use it in the other house. But here's the trick. You're gonna have to market that house a whole lot harder because it's not on the MLS. It's like barely anywhere on the internet. So you're gonna have to do the legwork for that open house. That's when you get to set up that event on Facebook for that open house, inviting people to the open house. Make sure that you have your signs set up, and I've pulled traffic that way. And then that.
But can you legally?
There's nothing illegal there. House is being sold, isn't it? All you're doing is posting an open house for a seller that has their house for sale. That's it. And what you're really doing is teaching them that, you know, you're able to bring people. Even if you have 2 to 5 people come through that open house, that seller will see it. And they're going to be like, okay, maybe this person does know, right? And that's where you keep following up with them. Keep following up with them. Talking. Get it to where kind of their walls are down and all of a sudden, you know, paying a 5 or 6% commission isn't that bad, right? Because you're going to make them more money in the long run. Does that make sense?
Because if I was a buyer, I wouldn't want to work for somebody. You know?
No.
I mean, would you? I mean,
No, as a buyer, you know,
as
you're
a
not.
buyer, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you're not paying any
Because I
commission.
would be scared that they wouldn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
A lot of those for sale by owners are getting approached by your savvy type buyers, your investor types, your
Yeah.
flipper type maybe. And what their game is to lowball them. So by the time you get to them, well, on average days on market, and if you're armed with all that data,
Yeah.
average days on market shows, you know, most homes that they're priced right are selling within this price range within 20 days. But you're talking to somebody who's been there for 120 days. They've probably been lowballed so many times
Mhm.
by all these investor types and they've already run through them.
People having cash.
And what's great about picking up a for sure business opportunity listing is that's the end goal, right? You start out by hosting an open house. And so you're building your database, right? And those clients are all buyers, pretty much, or neighbors in
It
the
could be
neighborhood.
listings. Could be listings.
You could, I've
Yeah.
turned them into listings.
Yeah.
But once you list that for sale by owner house, nobody's ever seen it before. It's not actually listed. They put it on fsbo.com or something like that, and nobody's seen it, right? And so when you market it, it looks like a brand new listing. Because it is. Because they don't know what they're doing. You know. I have it on here. Buyer script, seller script, FSBO script. That's a little homework for you guys. I don't make any money from Tom Ferry. I'm just going to put that out there. Scan the code. He's got a bunch of resources on there.
Great scripts.
Great scripts.
It's really good.
He gives away free scripts all day, every day. You don't have to sign up for his coaching. It costs a lot of money. I don't. I go on periodically and just get the scripts. You know, that's a resource for you. This other stuff, I mean, obviously you have the book in hand. My other book is Overcoming the Plateau, and I have an audio book of Overcoming the Plateau. Okay, little sales pitch. Do you have that one? Okay, cool. Obviously, you guys have my phone number, right? So the 15-minute call thing doesn't apply. That's pretty much what I got for you guys today. Is just start basically building your business. And anytime, like you want to set up a time where you sit down with us with KB Core, you got to do that, right? And then Kemba, she'll teach you everything you need to know on Kemba. I would too.
I mean, I think that was.
Me too, and I'm married to her.
I mean, for us, because we're a team, like, that's something that I started doing, implementing this year is like not being as controlling and staying in my lane, right? And her lane is,
You're a happy life.
yeah, so she's like our TC.
But I think